Hi everyone, welcome to the Dingers. On our first episode, I am here with Carl, Girl, Check, and my name is Junior. How's everyone doing?
I guess I'll go first. So me, I am doing pretty good. 2022 was a great year for me. It was a year of growth. I have just received my first credit card. I got my license and much more. So
Wow,
yeah, it was a great year.
bro, that sounds amazing. What about you, Carl?
All right, hi guys. This is very wonderful opportunity for me to be here, joining my friends, Carl, Joel, Junior. It's the 2022 was kind of up and down for me. It was mostly up, to be honest. And the starting of this year, I was feeling it's aimless. It was aimless for me. But at the end, now I can say I have something. I have something I'm doing. I've, which I might not have been, to be frankly, wanted to do it. But now when I'm in this, I'm giving my 100%. So yeah, and I also got my first credit card too, just like my friend Jel. But the difference is I already had my driving license 2 years ago, so
Wow.
I have one up. I have one up.
Step in front of me.
I'm still trying to
Hi,
get mine.
my name
I'm
is
still
Check.
trying to get mine.
So far my year for 2022 hasn't been bad. It's like it's kind of been a year of like really just like trying to get everything I want in focus. So I've been
Okay.
doing good at some things, school, stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a good year.
Well, for
Nice.
me, for me, it has been an interesting year as well because everyone knows that I was sick for a while and I was not able to complete my class. But God has a way of doing this thing. So, but I'm glad that I'm here with you guys. Is college actually worth it?
Who wants to go first?
I'll
I'll
go
take
first.
okay.
Oh, you want to go? Check.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, good.
personally I'd say if you know what your plan is, if you know what you want to do, college is definitely worth it. Like it's 100%, like it's worth the time, the effort, the money, it's worth all that. But like if you don't know what you want to do, I mean, it's like a 50-50 then at that point. Because on one hand, you could be going and you're going to be learning like some of the best information you could use to figure out what you want to do. But at the same time, you can end up being wasting like what, a year, 2 years, even 4 years of your life just to not really be doing anything at all with it. So I think it's kind of like if you know what you want to do, if you know what your plan is, you're good. College is very much worth it. It's the perfect decision. If you plan on trying to figure it out, like what you want to do, it's like it could be the best decision to go to it because you'll learn a lot, you'll meet a lot of people, you'll hear about a lot of ideas, and that can help you out. But if you're someone who's like, nah, it's not even like you're trying to figure out, like you generally just don't really want to, like you don't even know if you want to go to college itself, then nah, it's kind of gonna be like a huge, like it's gonna be to your detriment because like you're basically, yeah, you're gonna be like blowing through money that you don't really have. But that's my take.
Oh, that was a great take. Kyle, you want to go?
Yeah, I somewhat agree with Check, but I also disagree with a lot of things he said. For instance, he said trying to figure it out, and that's a good point. Actually, that's a good point. You really want to figure out what you want to do. Sometimes you have figured it out, sometimes you don't. So it's not always a waste of a time or money, but you can always meet somebody, even if you are not studying and if you're not doing anything else. You can always meet some people. You can always have a connection. For me, having education is a good thing, but I also prefer having connections too, because in life you do not know what's going to happen to you, and so it's just you want to surround people around you who are good people and who have your back, to take thick and thin. Every time you just walk away from something, they will drag you, and they will come back and say, okay, buddy, that's not working. Let's do something else. So I think, yeah, that's all. That's the point of college. It's a fun little thing. But for me, yeah, the connection thing is it's really important. So yeah.
So I agree with what you guys are saying, but only depending on the actual college, because making connections and meeting people is fun and all, but I wouldn't do that for 50,000 a year. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It's a reality. We have to walk around. But once you have a connection, then they can decide. Like you have somebody back. You have somebody's back. They have you, so they can make like you have to make your decision for yourself. But you can also check up with them, because they also have been living this life, this game that we are going in college. This is a game. So they've been playing. So it's a multiplayer game. So you cannot win solo. You need multiplayers.
So,
But also, one last
yeah, you
thing.
can
So
go.
also, I think this notion that connection is a big deal in college, I think it might not actually really reflect reality, because I believe it's probably something that's been pushed on by the media, basically. Like you see in movies, they keep on telling us, oh, college, that's going to be the best time of our life. Like, oh, that's where you're going to get all of your moment. Like they keep on showing us that on movies, series, and then cartoons. They keep on telling us that. But the reality is college isn't like that. So yeah, I feel like people sometimes get a false image of it from the media.
Sorry to cut you off for a second, Joe. My bad. But because I want to agree with you on one hand, because you're kind of right. Like I think it's like, if we're looking at like CUNY schools, I would definitely say that's true. Because like I doubt that we'll make those type of connections. Like, oh, I'm gonna be going to school and I'm gonna meet some billionaire here at this school that's gonna hook me up with a job down the road. But at the same time, I wouldn't say like those connections don't exist at all, because it's like maybe they can't help you in that sense, but like the levels of professors you can meet who have like their backstory, like where they've worked prior, where they've been prior, like if they were to write you a letter of recommendation, if they were to write you like, oh, like have this professor who worked in this, and you're trying to go for that field, those level of connections are really helpful, especially nowadays where like you apply to a job, first thing they ask you is they need like what 2-3 letters of recommendation just to get in, just to apply for the job, just to get the job.
Exactly.
And those are like, so it's like the connections, I think they're very true. Like it's very true that you make those connections, and you should try to make those connections, because those could, like, even if they don't help you in the sense like, oh, you'll get the job 100%, it helps you get your foot in the door, because you have your recommendations and your letters of recommendations have better people backing you up, as opposed to someone who might just have like a friend or some person from a job that has nothing to do with this job that you're applying for. So on one hand, I think you're right, especially when we're talking about CUNY schools. But I think if we go to like places like universities, where a lot of those professors definitely like worked in field, like some of them are actually like they're working in them as a professor, but they also have another job, or they're doing other things. So it's like, I definitely think you're right, but I also have to disagree slightly with like depending on the environment, like which colleges, like you said, like depending on the college itself, and what kind of yeah.
So, back to the question, right? Is it worth it? So I would say when it comes to college, right, I look at college in two different ways. The first one is I try to okay. Let me rephrase that. So when it comes to college, right, my thought is when you're going to school, right, you want to try and do something else, or like skills, or get like a different skills, right, to add to your to you going to college. Because let's say you're I don't know, you're trying to create like a YouTube channel, right? You're building it up and you're going to school, because college is going to guarantee you a degree, and a degree mostly will guarantee you a job, which is like, it might not be like the greatest pay of all time, but you're going to get something to live by. So when you're going to school and at the same time you're trying to like build something on the side, which maybe like you're betting on in the future, right? So in the future, when you're done and you you become successful in the other thing as well, you bring them both together, it becomes something massive. So that's my thought on it. I think it's definitely worth it. You have to for me, I think it depends on the person though, but I think in this kind of economy or in the world we live in right now, college is very important. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I actually want to go back to something Jack said, that college is actually a good experience only if you know what you're doing, and that is actually very correct, because like everyone here knows, like if somebody goes into college expecting to just study and then get out of there and be successful, that's not how it goes. That's not possible. Like you have to go in there and actually go above and beyond and do other stuff.
Okay.
Because these days, unlike the 1960s, 70s, 80s, college is having a college degree is not that uncommon anymore.
Yeah.
It's like even freaking customer service jobs ask for a degree these days. So you gotta make sure to stand out somehow when you're in college.
Okay, let me ask this question because I used to think a lot about this question. So it says, what is your experience going from teenager in high school to an adult in college? What do you guys think about? What was your experience moving from transitioning from the life of a teenager in high school straight into college?
For me, it was definitely something new. I felt like I was adult. The first time when I went to the college, system was something way beyond I could comprehend. All right. Since I came to this country, I went to this high school. I thought, oh, okay, it's easy. But when I went to the college, it wasn't easy. It wasn't. I want to share a personal story with you guys, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, you can. Go ahead.
All right. So the very first day of my college, it was an afternoon class. So it was already something that it's not in my system. It's not in my routine. So the very first day, it's an afternoon class. I was like, should I go? I don't like it. Jitters. The jitters were coming out and everything was going on. So, and I don't even knew that there was like 3-4 different buildings in the college as you have in CUNY college. So I went in the very first building, which did all of my paperwork and everything. And the very sweet gentleman, the security guard, he was very sweet. He told me, what are you looking for? And he said me, and I said, I'm looking for this building. I'm gonna go to this class. And he said, wrong building, boy. And I was sort of, wrong building? What do you mean by that? It's this college, right? I'm going to this college. He said, yes, but there's different buildings. I said, really? Yes. Nobody gave you tutorial? I said, no. I was nobody gave me anything, tutorial, anything. So I have to run back for 1 block from the building to the other building. I was kind of late, but yeah, it was an experience. The very first day coming late to the class, and I thought it was gonna be awkward, but no, everybody's minding their own business. Nobody talking to each other. Nobody's saying hi, hello, nothing. It's on about the day. 1 hour done. The assignment was on the desk. Everybody picked it up and went away. Nobody said have a nice day. Nobody said anything. So that was something new to me. I didn't know. It's I won't say it's a bad experience. It's kind of fun one, really fun one. So, yeah. Hey, if you guys have anything you guys want to share for the first day of your college, you can share too.
Who want to go? Should I go?
Yeah.
So, I think going from high school to college was actually very difficult for me because I was, I came in I came into so when I came in, I went straight to high school, and I spent like 2 years in high school. So those 2 years, I was among everyone. I was with everyone. I spent my time with everyone, But now you're going to like a college where you only meet like some people like once in a week or sometimes like twice a week, and when the class ends, that's where it ends. Unless you actually get to spend time with them and then you guys know one another. So it was kind of like a little bit difficult for me transitioning from high school to college. But I mean, after like a year, I was able to like just get into it and just be like, okay, this is what it is now, and just keep going.
You want to
I
go
know.
next? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sure, you can.
You want to
Joe,
go
you can
ahead,
go.
check?
Nah, Joe, you can go.
All right, cool. Thanks. So, actually, for me, because I was fortunate enough to live 5 minutes away from my college, so I actually had
Lucky bastard.
I actually had much more opportunities to, like get in touch with the college, like explore it. And so through stuff like that, I was able to get used to the neighborhood. I was able to even get into like programs before college actually started, in which I took some classes before I began my semester. So, but like overall, for me, it was actually quite a good transition for me. But that's because one, I lived close. Two, unlike Cal, I didn't have only. Wait, was it Cal or Junior? Sorry, Junior, I think. Unlike Junior, I didn't have only 2 years of high school, so I was kind of already acclimated to the education system in the US. So me personally, I had a good experience, but it's because of different circumstances. Yeah.
So what was your thought? What do you think about tech?
Oh, to be honest, I would break it up into about like I gotta make 3 points. I would say that transition from high school to college, like I feel like there are three like really big things that I noticed. The first would be like the gap between like when you go to class, like those gaps between when you actually have classes. Second, I'd point out like the fact that the way homework works, and then I'd point out like basically what Cal was saying with like, and what you were saying too, Junior, with like the system and the way things are. So like to start off with like basically the gap with like between when you go to classes. You can literally set it up in a way that you could be like Monday you go to classes, Tuesday you don't go to classes. Tuesday you go to Wednesday you go to classes, Thursday you don't go to classes. Like you could do all that. And that's like a really good experience, especially if you're trying to work while going to college. But at the same time, I would say it's also like to someone who's not used to having this much freedom, because you go to school for what, 8 hours a day, consecutively every day for 5 days. That's crazy. So like, especially if you're trying to be like a more full-time student and you put most of your classes in one day, so you basically like maybe you put 3 classes in a day or 2 classes in a day, and then you have 3 classes in another day just to have 5 classes. You basically have what, 1, 2, 3, like you basically have like 4 days, 4 or 5 days just to like downtime. And if you're the type of person who does your homework like just like that, you're definitely going to like, you're definitely gonna have downtime. Because if you like getting your homework done immediately, then you're good. But this also comes with like that sense of like, like what do you do with all this time? Yeah, you can study, but I would be like, college is like necessary to study. But at the same time, I wouldn't say like you need to study for 4 or 5 days. And then to point out the thing with homework, like I was just saying, if you're the type of person that already has like a hard time doing homework, like you procrastinate, the gaps between when your homework is due makes it all the worse. Because let's say you got a class on Monday, the homework is due the next Monday. You basically like you could tell yourself consecutively like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, but tomorrow's Monday. And that's like that can hit you hard if you're someone who's like, because in college it's different. Like, yo, you miss an assignment, that's big, especially depending on the class. If it's not like a serious class, if it's more of an elective that's not too serious, your homework is a huge part of your grades, because you don't have like the pressure of like like your finals being too serious or something too much for you. But if it's like, and then to talk about like the system, one, I feel like, again, because it's more like you're dealing with adults, you have less, I don't want to say eyes on you, you have less eyes on you, but yeah, you kind of have less eyes on you, so there's nobody's really keeping you like accountable to make sure you're going to your classes as much. If you decide, yo, I'm gonna wake up and not go that day, and because you don't have that legal thing, like you have, like as a teenager, you legally have to go to school until you're 18. Like, you don't got a choice. But now you're an adult, like, oh well, and that's money, and then even if you're using financial aid, your financial aid isn't infinite. If you run out of it, that's on you. It's coming out of your pocket from now on. So, and also to build on the fact of like, socially, if you're not the type of person to go out of your way to talk to people, you're socially, yo, you're dead. It's dead, because people come in. A lot of people you're gonna have class with, yo, they have work right after their classes, so there's not that much time for them to sit there and chat or stuff like that. Yeah, sometimes, but a lot of time, yo, class is done, everybody gets up, they're gone. So like socially, you're just like, at best you might make one or two friends, and even then, it's like sometimes they're not even long term. It's like, yeah, just for a class, and after that, you don't talk to them. It depends. University might be a little bit different, especially if you dorm, or if you do dorm in like CUNY schools. It depends, but like a lot of time, your social life that's hard too, because if you're someone who wanted to do college for like that social experience and kind of that freedom of like being able to do stuff like with friends, that's also a hit. So it's like it's a crazy transition, because now you're an adult. Like, yo, nobody's gonna really be pressuring you. But yeah,
I would like to. I really agree with what you just said, Jack, because on one hand, in high school, we were held accountable, we were held in line, we were given a clear direction in what to do, we were given a bunch of tasks, we were guaranteed that we would get the thing that we wanted, aka graduation at the very end. Also, socially, we had the freedom to mess around in class and stuff, because education was free. But like in college, time is money. And so no one wants to bother talking in class, because they're all basically like cutting off their limbs to just be there. So yeah, I really agree with that. So which going back to the point that we were talking about previously, like going to college for connection, like it makes you wonder, is that really a good reason to go to college though? Because like you said, in college, I mean, I don't know the situation in universities, but in community college, most people are going there because they want to go through college quickly as possible. They're not there to like to mess around and stuff. But so yeah, I agree with that.
So I have a question for you guys, right? I have a quick question. What would be your advice to seniors, high school seniors that are going to college? What would be your advice to them?
I would say, just to start it off, I'd be like, my advice personally would be, one, the mentality you have about like school kind of being this thing you could breeze through, like the way, like the mentality that like, yo, you could kind of casually go, because I feel like college hits everyone, man. Yo, college hits even people who did good in school.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yo, it hits people, even if you got the best grades. If you think you can go into college and casually just like, or you think you can maintain, yo, it takes even more, because it's less about just like just studying and stuff like that and understanding. It's about, one, yo, you gotta consistently put in the work consistently, and there's gonna be a lot of work, a lot more, and they expect that you listen. Some professors will be like, yo, they'll give you an assignment. It could be a 3-part assignment. It could be a 4, like it could be multiple things. Like some professors, like you, like for example, let's say your professor gives you one question. In your mind, you're like, oh, one question, that's not bad. If you read it, it'll be like, yo, they want a 1-page response or a 2-page response from just that one question. They want evidence. They want stuff like that. So it's like, if you think it's something you can breeze through the same way you could, like, or maybe you could go through casual the same way like grade school, you gotta really rethink it. It might not be for you. It really might not be for you. Or it's like, you gotta, before you go, take that, even if you take that one semester just to like, or your first semester, take like simple courses. Start off with the most simple courses you can see. You got like electives, and let those be your first courses. Don't take anything serious yet. Let that be your second semester. Make your first semester a simple courses, and then get that experience, get the feel of it, so it doesn't hit you hard if you do kind of slip. But that's what I want to say.
So, hey, I agree with Chuck in one particular area where he said it. Take the semesters like easy one, like simple and easy. I really do agree with him. And what I would advise the seniors is don't jump into bachelor's degree. 4 years. Do not jump the gun. Do not say it's easy for me. It's easy for me. Even if the point the Chuck made, the most academic competent students, they find pressure. They also find pressure because they don't have social life over there. And once you don't have any social life throughout the life, is study is one thing you have. Then when you come into the college, which is big circus, it's a huge circus if you go in there. So that's the thing. That's the thing. The struggle. And I would say go with associate degree first, because just go around, just check it out, just check the college out, just check the vibes, just check what is the real thing, what is the real world looks like, what I am stepping inside. Is it quicksand, or is it really a very good paved road? Because at the end of the day, it's you, your time, your money, your future. And even if you wanna say, okay, associate is good for me, I've done the associate easily, so what's harming you from doing 2 more years? Don't jump the gun and go with 4 years. Stick with 2 years. That's what I'm gonna say.
Oh wait, sorry, Joe, because I just want to add one more thing. My bad. I just want to add one more thing. I want to point out, like, because I forgot to mention it, but I would say, like, one more piece of advice I would have to add is make sure you don't go, or you don't pick majors that you feel pressured to have. Like, you should never don't let any
definitely
because it's easy. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but like, it's you can deal with the stress of classes if it's for something you want. Like, yo, it could be math, it could be science, it could be the most difficult. You'll bear with it if that's what you want to do. If that's something you believe you want to do with your future. But if you're going there for other people, those classes will hit you like a freight train, and it's gonna hurt because like you're like, what? Why am I even here? Especially for some classes, like 4 hours with like a 40-minute or 10-minute, 15-minute break. But yeah, Joe, sorry, you could continue. My bad.
Yes, so I would have to disagree with the statement what Carl said. So about the associate. So I would say it's a better idea to still go for a bachelor right away, because when you go into a bachelor, you only get to declare your major once you're a junior. And so before that, it's basically a tryout. So that would be my advice. So go for a bachelor right away, but in the beginning, only take general ed courses so that you can get a feel of different subjects like English, math, science. So you can get a feel of them, and then by the time you're a junior, you'll be you will have like a grasp of what you like and what you don't like. So I would say go for a bachelor now, because going for an associate, that's using up time, and money that you could have dedicated for a bachelor. That is why that is what I advise. And also, I am not sure if this was specific to my college or if it happens in other college, but for the first few classes of your first semester, you're put into blocks, meaning that you, no matter which classes you are in, there are going to be a couple of students that are always going to be with you. But these only work for general ed classes. But so, talking about the social aspect, that could make the first semesters easy for you because you will be taking general ed classes alongside a set number of students, which you will get to see every day, which will be easy to start socializing from. And my other advice is to take full advantage of all college resources. Like, you have to, like, you paid so much money for it, you have every right to use everything at that college.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a tutor, go for it. Even if you don't feel like you might need it, go for it. It's your right. Or even the library, go to the library, explore the college, go for a counselor, just for the hell of it, go for a club, to the club building, or even go for a college tour before you attend the college. Like, use everything at your disposal because you paid for it, so you should use it. And another piece of advice I have is in regard to major.
Yes.
I agree with what Czech said. Don't get pressured into majors. Like, choose something that you actually want to do. However, do that within boundaries. Like, you still have to look at which majors are actually profitable. Because in the end of the day, you're not in college to pursue your passion. You're here to get a job so that you can be financially stable and actually pursue your passion. So I would say go for a financially stable major. That's not insufferable, but that's still profitable. And my last piece of advice, it's a cliche, but I can't stress it enough: time management. Like, I don't know how to do it correctly yet, but if I knew how to do it, I bet I'd be a champion in college right now, if I knew. But I don't. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
So, my first advice would be, it is kind of like, it depends on you. So, I would advise that know what you want to do. Because when you know what you want to do, you know the direction you want to go to. Because that way, you're not wasting money, you're not wasting your time, and you're not wasting your resources as well. So, because when I was going into college, I wanted to be an engineer, but I wasn't sure which engineer I was going to do. So that took me a while to figure it out. And yeah, it cost me a lot. So I would say definitely know what you're doing. My second advice would be take it easy. This is your first is gonna be your first semester. So your first semester in school, make sure you talk to your advisor. Make sure you talk to friends. You can get knowledge from them. Make sure you use every resources on campus. Like Gail said, make sure you use all the resources you have on campus. It's gonna really, really be helpful. And my last advice is, like Gail said, time management. You have to make sure you're working on your time management. Because you're paying money, so you don't want to have to. Let's say you're using a financial aid, right? You don't want to have to run out of your financial aid help, and now you have to pay out of pocket. So make sure you have a very good time management. Know what you want during the week for your class to be, so you can have time to actually go over your work from classes, to do your homework, and have time to do your projects as well. Because college is not an easy place to go. So but at the same time, it's very, very worth it.
I have
Can I? Oh, sorry, Jill.
just
Can I
one
add?
last. Can I just
Yeah, go
add one last thing? So, my final advice, but this is pretty important too. Please, if you're in high school or if you're in high school, please do good on your math and English classes. Like you can disregard everything else, do good on those specific classes. Or if you're in college, please take at least a math or an English class on your first semester. Because I work in a college admission office, and I see those two classes are like the main deal breaker every time. Like when a student has gone to high school, but they didn't do good in any math classes. I mean, they did bad in most of their math and English classes. They always get denied. So please do good on your math and English classes. Those are the most important ones. Thanks.
You want to go, Cal?
Yeah. Sure. All right. So hearing all of you has made me realize that I've missed a few of the points, few of the advices I have. So the first one, I want to say, I have a backup. If you are senior, and have a backup. If you don't have a backup, the going to college is only option. I would recommend have a backup. Do something else. Have something else in case if the major you're doing it doesn't pan out to be the one you liked it. Have a backup. Always have a backup. And whatever you're doing, give your 100%. Always give your 100%. Do well in SATs. Even if you don't do you well, and even if you don't like the college you're going, the life is not always fun. It's that's the life. So even if you don't go to the college you want it to be, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Don't be afraid that you don't want to be there. Your friends are not gonna be there. Just focus on yourself. Just focus on yourself, and don't beat up yourself. Even don't take stress. Don't take stress, especially your senior. As much stress you want to take stress in freshman year, sophomore year. Take kind of risks on those years. I mean, you've already passed, so it's not saying anything. You're already senior now. If you're senior, if you're listening senior, I would say back up. And if you're freshman and junior, take risks and add more schedule. Add as many as you want, but don't overload yourself. Don't overload yourself, and don't beat around yourself if you don't do good. It's always a good thing if you prepare in your life later on. And it's a simple rule. Failure is a first step of success. Keep this mind. Keep this phrase in mind. Failure is always first step to success. And move on with your life. Yeah, that's what I add. That's just what I want to add. If you guys want to add something else, go ahead.
I'll go ahead if.
Yeah, I can ask the last question if you guys want to. So this is going to be our last question, and we're going to wrap up the podcast, our first podcast. So the question is, do you guys think school actually prepare us for adult life?
No, I'm gonna straight up say no. School is completely different ball game compared to what college is. College is the mirror. It's the mirror to real life. School, you are playing. You are in something else. You are in a playground. School, as Jill has first said it. It's teachers are handing out, teachers are maintaining discipline. We are there, we are doing whatever they're saying us to do. It's like we are pampered kids. But when the college happens, when you go to college, you suddenly become a pampered kid to a adult who has a responsibility to take on families. And sometimes it is the truth. Sometimes high school kid has to take care of the families. Sometimes they go to college, they work, and sometimes they have to do most of the thing. They juggle around everything. It's the same thing. College definitely is something different. High school is just it's fun, games. You learn something definitely in educational purpose. You do learn something, uh, but still, as preparedness towards the life it should be. I don't think they don't prepare anything. I mean, I would really say high school nowadays should introduce something. I don't know if they introduced or not. I haven't been in high school for a long time. I don't know if they have introduced anything regarding the how to file a tax. That's real thing. That's real thing. Once you paying something, paying financial aid, but sometimes you cannot. You have to pay out of pocket. That helps it. How to file a tax, nobody teaches them. How to make a time management, they don't teach them. They straight up gave us the schedule. This is the time you're going. This is the time you're staying. And sometimes they don't tell kids how long they should go, what should be the dietary consumption, what they should eat, what they should not eat. They don't have health. For the health, they just taught us this is teeth, this is eyes, and they go around like that. That's how I remember the health, and that's it. That's what they do. So it's very important life lessons which you have to learn, which I think it's kind of disadvantage for the kids in the high school to going on to college. So I would say high school should teach them some real life skills. Have a real life skills. Make a club. Do something. Uh, talk to adults. Uh, Counselors should have instead of the trips and everything, they should make a drills, or have a speaker come out, motivational speakers or any speaker in particular field and area, have them talk about difficulties in the life. Let kids know, let them scare a little bit, not that much that they don't want to go forward in the life, but at least have something that they should do it. They should know. Yeah,
So
that's my point.
what do you guys think? Anyone wanna chime in? Check out.
Oh,
They were mesmerized by my speech.
I get it. That's true.
wait, Joe, do you want to say something, or should I just?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, so I would say it's like I don't think high school is designed to prepare you for like that. Well, yes, in some ways it is, but it's not designed to prepare you for that transition. In my personal opinion, I think it prepares you with the knowledge and the information you need and the skills you need to do like to like once you're done, once you leave this building, you have the skill sets to get an entry level job. Like those are the skills you have. Like you can get literally, and that's true. You got a high school diploma, you can get almost any entry level job.
Can I cut? I'm sorry to cut you off, Jel. But don't you think it's unfair for the people who just who don't know anything about life at high school, and they think that sometimes people's mindset are like that. High school, college, it's a step, it's a staircase. Think in a metaphor way. It's a staircase. High school is one step, and another floor. If you want to go to another floor, there's a college. So sometimes kids' mindsets are like that. They have been prepared like that throughout, from kindergarten to junior high, middle school, and whatever they are doing. They're thinking like that. The mindset is like that. So sometimes they think like, okay, it's not appropriate to think like I'm gonna go to college, and this college is like this same as them, because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, the peer pressures and everything. So sometimes,
Let me
Sorry,
try
not
to summarize what you're saying. So what just to be clear, what you're saying is sometimes because of the way life has been for a while now, people think going from high school to college is the norm. But you can take a gap year or do something different. Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no. That's not what my point is. I'm sorry if I'm not making everybody sure.
No, I understand
It's
what you're
just
trying to say, Cal. You're trying to like say like it's kind of unfair that the skill sets you're given and the information you're put like that's given to you doesn't actually get you ready for what you're basically told from the point that you even start grade school
Oh,
or
makes
even
sense,
when
yeah.
you're like just
yeah.
like an infant basically. Not an infant but like a toddler.
You perfectly understood me.
That's great. That's great.
You perfectly understood me. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
But I have to disagree because I wouldn't say it's unfair. Because if you think about it, like looking back like can't give you an exact date. But if we go back in early times, people weren't thinking like, yo, let me get out once I get out of high school, I'm going straight to college. Some people like back when like I'd say times were a little bit better economically, people like they were done with school, done with high school, they went straight to the workforce. And they were starting their families, they were doing this. A lot of people, not a lot of people weren't always going straight to college. So it's set up in that sense. I personally think it's set up in that sense to basically have you do that. I feel like over time, obviously, as things got a little bit rougher, people are really trying to push people to get a higher education, which I feel is important that we should do, especially because a lot of people aren't really keen on doing that. And that's like to their own detriment. Because again, it's like nowadays, even some entry level jobs still want you to have a diploma. It doesn't matter which one it is, they want you to have a diploma. But I still feel like that's not necessarily, I would say high school doesn't prepare you. I think the issue with how school is set up, I feel personally, as people get into those teenage years, school should start to reflect a similar way to how college is. You shouldn't have to come in every single day. Like you should have a similar setup where like, okay, you take classes these certain days, you don't have classes these days, just to get people into the mindset and that transition of how college kind of functions. And also I feel like for kids who are, even if school doesn't reflect that, I feel like for students who are planning to definitively go to college after they graduate, there should be like once you get to your senior year, you should start to kind of get that college set up just so you're ready for it when you see it in actual college. Because I wouldn't say high school doesn't prepare. Because in a lot of ways, the amount of opportunities, the amount of things I've noticed my high school like kind of offered, the way I personally feel like my guidance counselor, I feel like it was like he made sure like he was giving us opportunities. Even now, I feel like he still sends us like emails and stuff like that. But it's like I don't say they don't prepare you. I think it's just like they ready you for that. Okay, you're done with this. You're technically now an adult. Here's what you could use to get your feet off the ground. You could, if you don't want to take this route, you have the skills to do an entry level job. If you want to build off from there, you can. It's going to be harder. It's going to be tougher, but you have the skills to do so. And even if you don't want to do this, you could always go to a trade school. You could always do this, this, and this. I wouldn't say it's like they don't prepare you for the transition. I would say just the setup as a whole, the purpose of what I think high school is necessarily supposed to give you isn't designed to set you up for the transition, no matter what. It gives you the information so you don't have to, you're already used to it by the time you go, but not everything is set up to give you that. But that's my thoughts.
So, Joe, do you agree with Check on that?
So whether or not high school prepares you for the adult world, I would say it does actually in some way, because let's say, for example, Cal's point on filing taxes. I am not sure if you were there at that time, but we were actually, while we were in high school, we were actually taught about taxes in one of our classes. It wasn't an in-depth class about it, but it was like an introduction to it. And also, Check, I kind of agree on your point that maybe high school doesn't prepare you on itself, like for the adult world, because you know how you're held accountable by the teacher, you're kept in line by the teacher, you don't really have to take responsibilities for your action, like you're forced to do stuff. But also in high school, isn't it a requirement to have a certain amount of community service hours. And through
Yes,
those community service hours, you get to experience that adult life, like a glimpse of it.
yeah, I believe so. You're correct. Yeah, I believe that's actually right.
Yeah, but regardless of all of that, actually, I think it is. I think high school maybe. Yeah, I think high school does prepare for. It doesn't prepare you for all of adult life, but it prepares you to be introduced to it. I mean, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in China, for example, they don't even have it at high school. They say middle school. Like once somebody finishes middle school in China, they're out. They can get most jobs. Because, if you think about it, I mean, most of the jobs that a high school degree aims for, they're not very complicated jobs. They're pretty simple. So yeah, in that regard, I think high school prepares for what it claims to prepare you for. It doesn't prepare you for a big, like let's say, an accountant job. It doesn't claim to do that. But it claims to prepare you for other basic jobs, which I believe it does, yeah. Night school, you can go ahead.
All right, so you guys, like, personally, we were able to talk about a topic. I think we kind of came to this like overall conclusion that there's no real one answer, because obviously for some people college works, some people it doesn't work, some people it's kind of they got to figure it out for themselves. But that aside, this brings us to the end of today's podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know we did. It was our first one. Shout outs to Junior, Gel, to Cal. This was amazing. And to all of you from the Dingers, stay amazing.